afternoon, guys. Today I'm going to be using my Husqvarna chainsaw and I'm going to cut up some big logs. I'm going to use the Bobcat MT100. Probably just going to throw the forks on it because these logs are big and I'm not going far with them. I'm going to lay them over there, I'm going to mark them out, and I'm going to cut them up. If you didn't know, moving logs with forks, not ideal if you got a grapple, but I was too lazy to get the grapple on. But anyways, I got this pretty half decent pile of red oak laid out here. This will fill some baskets for sure and give me something to cut on. Some of these I'm gonna have to bust down, like those for sure with the skid steer splitter. That's why I put them over there. The small stuff I put in the back because it's gonna be kind of hidden. This stuff will be borderline. I'm not sure if I'll bust it in half with the loader yet, but I'm gonna get to cut, and I'm gonna be using my 572 here. This one I've had for about a year now. It goes ported by Leave Nothing stock. It's got a steadfast muffler on it, West Coast cover and dogs. She's a ripper. So I'm gonna go do that. I think I'll probably use this Mingo marker, mark these out real quick, and then I'll fire up the saw and get you guys back on camera. All right, I got it all marked out with the Mingo marker. I don't use this thing all the time. Sometimes I use the perfect stick, sometimes I eyeball it. But this thing really does work good on big logs like this that are straight. It's terrible for limb wood or small stuff, but you get a big log that's like waist height and you can just crank right down it and it works pretty good. Fire up the saw right now. Alright guys, it's pretty much at the point where she's probably about out of gas, and I've hit some, yeah, it's about out of gas. I've hit some dirt and then cutting some of these nubs off the end. They've been full of dirt and it feels sharp, but it's just not cutting how I want to. So I'm gonna go grab another saw and finish with something that's good rather than just burning something that's not quite sharp. It's been a minute since I've sharpened this chain. It wasn't fresh when I got out here, so I'll be right back. All right guys, I got the STIHL 500i and I'm gonna finish off with this. I love cutting wood. Cutting wood is definitely my favorite part of the process. So I said I was just gonna cut these logs, but I'm feeling pretty good and I'm excited to run this saw. So I think I'm gonna probably run a tank through this too, finish off this, and I think I'll probably get some more logs. We'll see. Okay boys, I got some more logs laid out. I've mentioned this in the past before, but I like to, after I get like a base, I like to set more logs on top of other logs so I'm cutting elevated. But it's just an idea that I have and that I like to share. Maybe you guys already do this, but this reminds me of a comment that I had today. And I'm not like telling you ideas like I'm some sort of savior or something. I just share what works for me, and I watch other videos and see what works for them and how I could make it work for me if it is better, you know. But the comment was saying, this will be like, by the time you see this video, this comment was like probably a month ago, but the comment said like, you guys are all idiots for thinking this way, blah blah blah. And you know, it makes me think the only idiot is the person who looks at something with the closed mind and doesn't see, well, why does that work like that, or why is that like that, or why does he think that? Because there's always truth to something. I could say a paint is red and you could say a paint is orange, and maybe it is orange, but I would look at it and like from my perspective I see red, maybe you see orange. Nobody's really an idiot. It's just all sharing information and looking at things from different points of view. So I'm gonna cut this up, just thought I'd share that, and hope you enjoy. All right guys, finished up cutting. Got a good bit of wood cut. I don't know how much it'll be. I would guess for the amount of time I cut and how much gas I use, probably 2 cords of wood. So it'll give me definitely some time in getting this stuff worked up and put into totes. The saws ran good. The 572, I love that saw. It is a powerful, powerful saw. And if you have a stock Husqvarna 572, that one is one I definitely get ported, because that woke that saw up. I ran a stock 572 for 2 or 3 years and it was always good. No complaints. Like, the saw was good, but it just wasn't to that next level. And getting that thing ported, you see big gains on that one. 500i, it ran good. Once I got that 4-stroking out of it on the first log, she eats. So yeah, this one it's definitely like ported. It's 90 cc power, but a pound or 2 lighter. It's a dang good saw, and it'll run a big bar. I've never ran a big bar on the 572. I don't have a Husqvarna big bar for it. When I sold my 592, I sold it with the big bar, and maybe someday I'll get a big bar, but I don't really ever cut like giant wood that I need, like the 32. I got a 32 for the 500i, but I don't really ever use it. And I found when I do cut the big wood, I can't get the bar to like stay straight. It always wants to walk, and then the wood ends up 2 different lengths. That's why I just like 25s. Like this, some of this stuff is the biggest wood I really cut, like some 28-inch wood, 30-inch wood, and it's fine to just cut it, roll it, and finish it off. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. You let me know which saw you like better. Have a good one. I'll see ya.